What happens when a concert turns deadly? While live music can be an unforgettable experience, on rare occasions, tragedy can strike, leading to pain, injury, and even death. The evening of October 1st, 2017, looked to be a great time for fans of Jason Aldean. The Dirt Road anthem singer was a headlining act of the Route 91 Harvest, a three-day festival that included performances by a number of country superstars. And unlike other festivals staged in a rural or remote location, Route 91 went down right on the famous Las Vegas Strip, just outside the Mandalay Bay Resort. That's exactly where a man named Stephen Paddock booked a suite, his hotel window providing clear views of the Aldean show. During Jason Aldean's set, Paddock opened fire from his hotel room, wounding and killing hundreds of people. 58 people lost their lives, not counting Paddock, who killed himself after firing on the concert, making this the deadliest mass shooting ever to take place on American soil. 2 more victims later died of complications from wounds sustained that night, bringing the death toll to 60. More than 500 people were injured. All-day outdoor music festivals originated in the late 60s with events like Woodstock and the Altamont Free Concert, the latter of which was held at a raceway near San Francisco in December 1969. The concert's organizer, Mick Jagger, hired members of the Hells Angels motorcycle gang to work security. The Hells Angels antagonized festival goers all day, tearing through the crowd on their motorcycles and using pool cues to hit anybody who got too close to them. By the time the Rolling Stones took to the stage, everyone had just about had enough. This included 18-year-old attendee Meredith Hunter, who retrieved a handgun from his car to use as self-protection from the security guards before heading back into the show.
Just be cool down the front and don't push around. Just keep still, keep together.
The bikers enforced a wide berth around the stage as the band played, but at one point, Hunter climbed up onto a speaker. A Hells Angel attempted to pull him off by his hair and then yanked him by the arm. Hunter resisted and took a punch to the mouth as a result. Before long, he was surrounded by 5 Hells Angels who pulled him out of public view and savagely beat him, kicked him in the head, and repeatedly stabbed him. Well-meaning strangers managed to grab Hunter and escort him to safety, but medical personnel pronounced him dead at the Altamont parking lot. One of the most successful country acts of the 2000s, Sugarland is a duo made up of singer Jennifer Nettles and multi-instrumentalist Christian Bush. Their first 3 albums each went triple platinum and generated numerous country chart-topping crowd pleasers such as Want To, Settlin', All I Want to Do, and It Happens. In August 2011, fans packed into the Indiana State Fair to see Sugarland play live. Nettles and Bush hadn't played a single note, however, before things took a turn for the tragic. A storm whipped through the fair, including a monstrous gust of wind so powerful that it tore the roof off the outdoor venue, knocked down a canopy, and upended scaffolding and other equipment. All that material fell into the crowd with great speed and force. 4 fans were crushed to death. 3 others, including a crew member, were also struck by debris. They died in the days that followed. In 1979, The Who embarked on their first tour following the death of drummer Keith Moon. With Kenny Jones behind the kit, the band was booked to play Cincinnati's large Riverfront Coliseum on December 3rd. The seating arrangement for the concert followed the standard for rock shows of the era, festival style. That is, general admission with no reserved seats. This left more than 14,000 Who fans to battle for a position as close to the stage as possible. Ticket holders started to line up for the show at about 1:30 p.m., and by 6:30 p.m., around 8,000 agitated fans had gathered against the Coliseum's locked doors. They only became more antsy when they could hear the Who go through soundcheck, and the situation deteriorated when the temperature dropped and the wind picked up. When they were finally allowed entry, the crowd became a stampede, and Who fans pushed, knocked down, and trampled each other to get through the 2 open doors. 14 other doors remained locked.
Everybody was stamping on everybody.
You couldn't get up?
No, you couldn't get up, man. People were pushing all over everywhere.
The concert went on as scheduled, but just before the encore, the Who's manager told them to play through the final songs at speed, informing the band that the pre-show stampede had claimed the lives of 11 people. Weeks later, the Cincinnati City Council passed a law that banned festival seating at concerts. On February 20th, 2003, The Station, a modest nightclub in West Warwick, Rhode Island, hosted a concert by the band Great White. Best known for their 1989 hit Once Bitten, Twice Shy, Great White was a hair metal band and like its fellow 80s veterans, couldn't fill giant arenas the way it used to. Nevertheless, hardcore fans remained eager to see a show with all the trimmings, including pyrotechnics. Despite the smaller venue, Great White's tour manager began the show by setting off some dazzling explosions toward the back of the stage. The station's owners later said they had never approved Great White's pyro, and with good reason. After a fire broke out, lead singer Jack Russell attempted to stop the flames from spreading by tossing cups of water, but to no avail. The band fled via a fire exit just off the stage, while more than 400 fans scrambled for the 4 posted exits. A bouncer wouldn't let anyone use the stage door, and 2 of the exits had been barricaded, leading to a crush of people at the open exits. A huge crowd remained trapped inside as the fire quickly destroyed the club, exploding liquor bottles, cracking beams, and causing the ceiling to collapse. 100 people died in the fire. Pop sensation Ariana Grande took her R&B stylings to the United Kingdom in May 2017, performing for thousands of fans at Manchester Arena. Immediately after the end of Grande's show, however, the event descended into chaos. As packed crowds left the venue, a bomb exploded, causing panicked fans to run for the exits. Police later identified the assailant as Salman Abedi, a suicide bomber who died in the attack. As families and groups separated by fire and shrapnel attempted to find each other and get to safety, more than 50 people were rushed to hospitals with life-threatening injuries. Tragically, 22 people died that night. The evening of November 13, 2015, ranks among the saddest and most horrifying nights in recent history. In a coordinated attack carried out by ISIS, bombers and gunmen attacked 6 locations around Paris. Shortly after 9 p.m., a suicide bomber activated his weaponry outside the packed Stade de France. Elsewhere, heavily armed terrorists opened fire on crowded bars and restaurants. The deadliest terror attack of the night was unleashed at the Bataclan, a 1,500-seat concert venue that had been sold out for that evening's show. During a set by American hard rock band Eagles of Death Metal, 3 attackers burst into the hall and fired assault rifles into the crowd.
It was such a long attack that I don't think anyone thought they were getting out of there alive.
Around 100 people were taken to nearby hospitals to treat potentially critical injuries, while 89 people died during the attack itself. By the end of 2004, Callejeros was one of the biggest rock bands in the Spanish-speaking world. Hot on the heels of their latest album, the group was so successful in Latin America that they could fill huge stadiums. It was an unusual and exciting move then when Callejeros booked a show at the modest República Cromañón in Buenos Aires right around New Year's Eve. Fireworks are a big part of New Year's festivities, of course, and several fans of the Callejeros show kept setting them off despite the band's protests and the obvious danger of doing so indoors. But the pyro play continued, and at one point, a fan threw a flare into the air, which hit the ceiling, sending ignited chunks to the ground below. The interior of the club quickly lit up, and the 4,000 or so fans in attendance ran for the doors, only to find that many had been blocked to prevent non-paying fans from sneaking in. All told, 194 people died in the ensuing fire, for which the band was held legally liable. Launched in 1971, the Roskilde Festival was part of the first generation of big, multi-act outdoor rock events that appeared in the wake of Woodstock. Roskilde has taken place annually right up to the modern day, ranking with the likes of Coachella as one of the premier outdoor festivals. It attracts around 80,000 attendees each year. The 2000 Roskilde Festival was fraught by disaster, however. Pearl Jam played late at night on the festival's first evening, when the grounds were muddy following a day of rain. As such, hundreds of fans had trouble staying upright. The crowd also continuously pushed and shoved to get closer to the stage, putting tremendous pressure on the people nearest to the band. That force, combined with the mud, led many to slip and fall. And as the crowd lunged forward, they were crushed and trampled. Pearl Jam, who had asked fans to ease up on the pushing, stopped playing, and witnesses reported hearing anguished screams of victims and other concertgoers. As a result of the rush, 26 people were hospitalized, 3 were seriously injured, and 8 died. On November 5, 2021, Travis Scott took the stage at his Astroworld festival in Houston, Texas. By the time his set was over, 8 young people had died, including 2 children, and hundreds more injured. While the investigation is still ongoing, video and eyewitnesses have shed some light on what happened that night. The already large and unruly crowd surged forward, trying to get closer to the stage until people were squeezed in so tight that some of them couldn't breathe. One witness later recalled,
I was getting winded. I was using all the energy I had left in me, and I came to the point where I was accepting my death.
In the aftermath, people pointed blame at Travis Scott and the concert promoter Live Nation. The lawyer representing one injured concertgoer who filed the lawsuit said, "There's every indication that the performers, organizers, and venue were not only aware of the hectic crowd, but also that injuries and potential deaths may have occurred. Still, they decided to put profits over their attendees and allowed the deadly show to go on." Pukkelpop began as a small showcase for bands in and around the community of Leopoldsburg, Belgium, in 1985, but by the 21st century, it had evolved into a massive 3-day rock and pop festival, attended by tens of thousands each year. Around 60,000 fans headed to Pukkelpop in 2011, which was headlined by major acts like the Foo Fighters and Eminem. Those musicians would never actually take the stage, however, as the event was canceled after a sudden, unexpected, and devastating storm on the opening night of the festival destroyed the grounds and claimed multiple lives. High winds and a torrential downpour struck with such velocity that a stage collapsed, screens fell down, tents tore up, and trees were ripped out of the ground. All that unsecured material, which organizers say was checked for safety prior to the festival, caught in the wind and struck a number of attendees. More than 140 people were injured in the chaos, and 5 people died. Billed as a music festival, Love Parade was nevertheless more of a multi-day, non-stop party, a rave in which hundreds of thousands of electronic music fans would descend on various German cities each summer and dance for hours to DJ sets. The 2010 Love Parade in Duisburg was absolutely massive, with police estimating attendance of 1.4 million people. It was a recipe for disaster. The main grounds of the festival could be accessed by just one narrow tunnel, and on July 24, 2010, hundreds of thousands of revelers tried to squeeze through it at virtually the same time. That resulted in a crush of too many bodies in too small a space. More than 500 people were injured in the melee, and an additional 21 people were trampled or crushed to death. 10 organizers and officials were later held criminally at fault for those deaths, while all future Love Parades were canceled soon after.